Hi friends, it's Victor Costa, Peace, Love, and Muscles. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the likes, the shares, and the subs. I really appreciate it. A lot of people are asking me, Vic, how do you feel about Arnold Schwarzenegger's recent comments about drug testing and bodybuilding, and don't you think he's a hypocrite? So I want to share with you guys my perspective, and I also want to come to Arnold's defense to some degree. So, 1985, Arnold Schwarzenegger was on the David Letterman show. He was promoting the movie Commando, and Maria Shriver was actually in the green room. I know this because I was watching this the other night. It was just coincidental. Arnold, of course, was charming, charismatic. Dave tried to get Maria to come onto the set, and she didn't want to, and it was kind of a big fiasco. But in the midst of all this, Dave asks Arnold straight out, "Did you ever use steroids?" And Arnold says, "Sure." I mean, without hesitation. He goes on to talk a little bit more about it and qualifies it to some degree by suggesting that it didn't really help him that much in terms of he couldn't really tell the difference in his physique necessarily when he was on them versus not on them, and when he competed on them versus not on them. That's up for you to discuss amongst yourselves. But he also downplayed the role of steroids in bodybuilding, and he also tried to distance himself to some extent from that. And he also suggested, and I don't know, I'm not watching the video right now, and I don't really even need to watch it again. There was a vibrational suggestion that this isn't good for you, and you shouldn't necessarily do what I did, but you should do what I say. And there's this movement away from drugs in bodybuilding, and it should move away from drugs. And he kind of hinted that in 1985. So the recent comments simply echo things that were kind of in his vibration already. Now let's talk a little bit about Mr. Schwarzenegger and where he is now in his life. Arnold came to this country with nothing, managed to become a millionaire even before he was in the bodybuilding realm and in the movies and all that stuff. And he did it with bricklaying and construction and with hard work. And then obviously he became extremely popular, a household name, and winds up not only conquering bodybuilding, but then also the movie industry, which he still is today. And then he goes into politics. And I mean, when you think about all these things that he's accomplished through sheer will and desire, and he came here with the only resource that he had, which was himself. He's accomplished everything that you could probably think that a person could accomplish. And so when we have all these needs met, we start thinking about this, this hierarchy of needs, right? He's got all the basic needs met, and now he's self-actualizing. He's sharing with you his perspective as a more experienced person who is the custodian of this sport, who is going to be leaving a legacy and wants to be understood. And as you guys age, and you'll know this because, I don't know, I know this because I'm a father. I tell my daughter to don't do as I did, do as I say. In other words, I'm teaching her from an elevated perspective of someone who's made mistakes or has a different perspective on things. And that's sometimes as simple as how do you navigate relationships with your teachers, or how do you study for an exam, or how do you map out an essay, which is what she and I, talk about frequently with respect to her homework. As you know, she's a really hardworking student. And I tell her about things, and I say, don't do as I did, do as I say. I want you to be better than me. I want you to do better than me. And that's what Arnold is really saying to us as well. He's saying this to us from the perspective of a father, somebody who has to look after everyone, because he has the platform. People look to him for answers. He is synonymous with bodybuilding. He is bodybuilding. And he's suggesting that people shouldn't take drugs, that it's not healthy. And he said that it's not good for you, essentially. He basically said that it's about bodybuilding, not body destroying, which is something I've been saying the whole time. You can't build the body without this concomitant pushback in some way, shape, or form. There has to be this balancing act going on in your body. The body doesn't respond to force. And so there is this push-pull going on. So there's no free ride, Everything has a consequence. Everything has a symptom. And so that's what he's suggesting to us. He's not telling you that he didn't do it. He's telling you that he did, and this is what he's learned as a result. And so when you think of that, right, when you hear that, you think of him, not necessarily in the sense of being a hypocrite. A hypocrite is saying that he didn't do them really as well. But he's telling you from an elevated sense. He's telling you from a teacher's perspective, from a fatherly perspective, of somebody who is now trying to leave a legacy behind, who's trying to do the right things, and who's self-actualizing. You know, as you get older, you have very different perspectives and levels of risk that you would take for yourself than when you were younger, you know? I mean, it's just how you see the world. You see the world differently. And what I try to do is I try to help young people see the world with a sense of looking forward, right? Hey, this is 20 years, fast forward 20 years, you're going to be glad you didn't do steroids and things like that. And you can only teach from where you are at the time, and you can only teach from experience. So is Arnold a hypocrite? Did he get the most out of bodybuilding that anybody ever got, and probably anybody ever will? Did he become a movie star and use that as his platform? Yes. Did he become a governor and use that as his platform? Yes. But I will tell you that now I believe he's trying to educate, and that's what older presents do. He's giving you a hint into his world and how he thinks. And if he thought it was good, he'd be saying people should take them and it's no big deal. But he's not. He's telling you and hinting to you, you have to decode what he's saying, that people shouldn't be doing this. And I think it's a good thing, actually. So I think we should understand it from where he is. Understand that you will be telling your kids very different stories than the things that you did. You'll be telling them to do as you say, not as you did. It's just human nature. It's how we all operate. And it's good that we operate that way because we want the people behind us to do better than us, to avoid the mistakes, to not have as many battle scars along their journey. They're going to have different ones automatically. But if you have sort of something to share and a perspective, what are you waiting for? You share it now. And like I said, you think very differently for yourself than what you would wish on other people too. You know, there's risks that you would take personally that you wouldn't wish other people would take. I mean, I think each generation wants the next generation to have it a little bit easier, to have it a little bit better, to teach from experience. And I think really that's where we're at with this right now. So I think it's a great thing. By the way, people drop 10 pounds like that. I'll bet your competitors dropped 10 pounds. The weight fell off the minute he said that. And oddly enough, I remember I was walking in Greenwich Village a couple of years ago. A friend of mine saw me on the street. He grabbed me. He was I was on 8th Avenue between 8th Street between 5th and 6th Ave. He grabbed me and he said, "You got to hear this. You got to hear this. You got to hear this." He goes, "I was just at a show and the judges told the competitors after the show, do not come here next year looking this big." I mean, this is like even the judges are telling these guys not to come in there, you know, exploding, you know, freaked out and everything like that, because you start moving away from what is, you know, most people believe could be attainable, most people believe to be somewhat aesthetic, and you start moving too far and pushing the envelope, and that's kind of where we're at these days, right? So now it's just coming back a little bit with some of the other classes that people are looking at, the physique and all this other stuff. And you know, I think that look, I think natural bodybuilding is where it's at. It's something you do. It's personal. But do I think that in the competitive realm, will people benefit from even the hint or the threat that there will be some testing? I certainly do, and I think that maybe the physique that we all aspire to will kind of come down to some sense of a bit of a healthier look, and then maybe the younger people will say, oh, I can see that, or I can understand that, and that doesn't seem too distant from where I'm at, and maybe I don't have to take drugs to get there. So that's my perspective on this, guys. Wish you guys all the best. Peace, love, and muscles. Thank you so much for watching the videos. Thanks for the likes, the shares, and the subs, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves. Bye. Peace, love, and muscles. Once again, friends, my book, Peace, Love, and Muscles, is now available for ebook distribution. This is what I've decided to do. If you go to PayPal and you send any sum at all to vicsnatural@aol.com, I will send you a copy of the book via PDF, along with a note of gratitude. I'm allowing you to choose your own price. And regardless of what it is, you've got my word that I will send that book over to you with a note directly from me, and I do each one of these individually, and that's how I'm disseminating the book. The book is about not only bodybuilding, but it's about bodybuilding principles. It's about abandoning limiting behaviors that are holding your body back and not allowing the body to manifest. In addition to about 50 to 60 pictures of me actually doing the exercises and describing the exercises in clear detail along with posing. I've got workouts for the home, I've got workouts for the gym. I discuss diet, I talk about the mindset and a balanced way to approach bodybuilding. I talk about not counting repetitions, I talk about steroids, I talk about abandoning things that are holding you back, like toxic friends and the dangers of various types of energies that are not really allowing your body to build itself, to be healthy, to manifest. And I think you would really like it. Thank you very much for listening to my video. Peace, love, and muscles. Please take care of yourself. Bye-bye.